comes to Shedeur and other set players, there's different standards to be held with.
And that just goes to show you that Shedeur Sanders and Coach Prime were targeted. They were blackballed, and there was 100% collusion going on when it came to Shedeur Sanders being drafted in the freaking 5th round, which was absolutely ridiculous. And then you see this post here. Hey, they pushed Shedeur Sanders down to the 144th pick because I didn't play in the Senior Bowl or throw at the Combine and wanted to showcase my wide receivers to NFL scouts. I hope Mendoza is ready for his draft slide.
Shedeur got blackballed by the NFL because of his dad, that used to not throwing at the Combine, and as an excuse to make people think that was the reason for him falling.
Fernando Mendoza, projected #1 overall pick in the entire 2026 NFL Draft, will not be throwing at the Combine. He'll throw at Indiana's Pro Day on April 1st instead. The reason? He wants to perform with his own guys, his own pass catchers, his own teammates, the people he's built real chemistry with all season long. You already know where this is going. You already felt it in your chest the moment you read that headline, because this is the exact same decision Shedeur Sanders made 1 year ago. Word for word. Same logic, same reasoning, same calculated, professional, completely legitimate choice. And the NFL media turned Shedeur's career into a crime scene for it.
Now, we all remember last year's during the NFL Draft when it was announced that superstar quarterback Shedeur Sanders will not be attending the NFL Combine, but he will be attending Colorado Buffalo's Pro Day. Now, I wasn't covering it like that at the time, but I remembered the headlines that was coming out. And the headlines was Shedeur is doing a disservice to himself, his future, and all of these sad things for not attending the NFL Combine.
This is not a conversation about football anymore. This is about power, perception, and the very deliberate construction of a narrative designed to bury a young black quarterback whose only real crime was being Deion Sanders' son. Say it louder for the people in the back. Because last year, when Shedeur Sanders made this decision, when he said he wanted to throw at Colorado's Pro Day with his own guys, give his receivers a shot in front of scouts, perform in a familiar environment where he could actually showcase what he could do, the media didn't just criticize him, they eviscerated him. They talked about it for weeks. It became the defining story of his entire pre-draft process. Every segment, every column, every hot take show. Shedeur is making a mistake. Shedeur is hurting himself. Shedeur doesn't understand how this league works. They ran that story from the Combine all the way to draft night. And then they had the audacity to act surprised when he fell to pick 144, like gravity had done something unexpected, like some mysterious force had pushed this top 10 Heisman vote-getter, this award-winning quarterback out of the first 4 rounds of the NFL Draft. It wasn't mysterious, it was manufactured, and they manufactured it themselves. Now here's Fernando Mendoza, and here's what he said when asked about skipping the Combine throw.
You're the presumed #1 overall pick, obviously how that goes, but
you are, dude.
Yeah. Who are you going to work out with? What are you going to do at the Combine? Have you thought anything about the whole throw into, which you don't need to do anything at the Combine, honestly, but have you thought about all of that going forward?
Yeah, so talking about it all with my agent, and at the Combine, you're throwing at different receivers, the whole different thing, and I want to make sure I give my guys the best chance. So I want to throw a Pro Day with my guys, with my running backs, and be there with the boys. The Combine, I don't think throwing is going to be a priority, just because it's such a quick turnaround.
Smart, mature, team first. That's the energy the media is giving Mendoza right now. Now here is Shedeur Sanders, 1 year earlier. Same situation, same decision. Listen to this.
The date was the whole time. The date always been for the Pro Day where, we'll have familiar faces, we'll be able to get work in. And I wanted to focus more on interviews, on getting to meet these coaches and GMs and everybody. I want them to be able to focus on, just having conversation, being able to talk, being able to see if we, see eye to eye, if they, even like me.
Those two statements are the same statement, restructured slightly. Different voice, different name. Same exact intent, same exact logic, same exact reasoning. One man is being called a leader, the other was called a problem. They went after his character at the combine interviews too. Reports started leaking that Shedeur came across as arrogant and brash in meetings with teams. Anonymous sources, the coward's weapon of choice in NFL media, were feeding reporters lines about how he seemed entitled, how he rubbed people the wrong way, how NIL had gone to his head, and the media printed every single word of it without blinking. NIL, that was their favorite weapon. Shedeur made money in college, legally, deservedly, the same way thousands of college athletes now do, and somehow that became evidence of a character flaw. The idea was almost comical if it weren't so damaging. The idea that earning your own money before the draft means you don't want it bad enough, that building a brand means you're not hungry, that being Deion Sanders and still going out there every single week and competing means you were handed something you didn't earn. Shedeur Sanders was never handed anything. He said it himself in those combine interviews, but the people asking the questions had already decided what story they were writing. The answers didn't matter. And then there's the Colorado angle, which might be the most intellectually dishonest part of this entire saga.
Oh, I can't believe they just criticizing Deion Sanders. Everything Colorado is doing is based on Deion getting his son in the Heisman race and drafted in the first round of the NFL. What's sad is the motivation isn't about empowering or uplifting Shedeur Sanders. The motivation is pleasuring Deion's ego.
For 3 straight years, the critics hammered Deion Sanders as a head coach. The roster wasn't built, the talent wasn't there, Prime was learning on the job, Colorado wasn't ready to compete at that level yet. That was the story, and they told it loudly and repeatedly. But the second it came time to evaluate Shedeur in the draft, suddenly Colorado wasn't good enough, and that was on Shedeur. He didn't win the Big 12 championship, didn't make the playoff, didn't do enough with what he had. Wait, which is it? Either Deion built a powerhouse and Shedeur underperformed, or Deion was still building and Shedeur overachieved. You cannot hold a quarterback accountable for losses you already attributed to roster limitations and coaching inexperience. You cannot move the goalposts every single time this family clears the bar. But that's exactly what they did. Season after season, evaluation after evaluation. The standard for Shedeur Sanders was never fixed. It was designed to keep moving so he could never reach it.
Something's missing with this kid. This kid talks. He runs his mouth like I could be a starting quarterback with his arms crossed like this. Get your ass in the front row and study and do all that. If I know, the whole league knows. Quit being an embarrassment that way. You got the talent to be the quarterback. You should be. You should be embarrassed that you're not the quarterback now.
Now look at the environment Fernando Mendoza played in. Indiana had one of the most physically dominant offensive lines in college football. Super seniors, grown men playing against kids on a weekly basis. Their defense was suffocating, their system was a quarterback's dream. Clean pockets, open receivers, a run game that kept defenses honest. Any legitimate football analyst will tell you that a great team elevates a quarterback's numbers in a very real and measurable way. That's not an insult to Mendoza. He played well, but Shedeur Sanders put up statistically superior numbers in a far more hostile environment with far less support around him, and he fell to pick 144. Mendoza is the projected #1 overall pick in the country, and now he's making the same combine decision that got Shedeur buried, and not a single mainstream voice is raising an alarm. Not one. The Raiders haven't flinched, the draft boards haven't moved, the hot take shows haven't fired up, the anonymous sources aren't whispering to reporters about red flags. The machine that chewed Shedeur up and spat him out in the 5th round is running completely silent right now.
Sanders didn't enjoy as much success during his initial stint in the NFL as he threw for just 1,400 yards, 7 touchdowns.
That's the whole story right there. 6 words. That's the entire thesis of everything we just watched unfold across 2 draft cycles. It was an issue when it was Shedeur. The decision was identical, the logic was identical, the professionalism was identical. But the treatment, the coverage, the narratives, the anonymous sources, the draft consequences was not even close to identical. And here's what makes this truly unforgivable. The people who spent months poisoning Shedeur's draft stock, who let those arrogant and brash reports run unchallenged, who treated a combine skip as a character indictment, Those people are covering this Mendoza story right now, today. They are writing the glowing pieces about what a mature, team-oriented decision Mendoza has made. They are nodding along on television. They have not acknowledged the contradiction once.
Any quarterback that had Indiana's system would have been looking damn good. No question about it, they was grown men out there playing with kids. Let's all just keep it a buck. Y'all gotta learn, y'all gotta research this stuff, man. That boy offensive line was grown men. Super seniors is what you call them.
Because accountability in NFL media is a myth they sell you between commercial breaks. The receipts exist, the timestamps are documented, the quotes are on record. Shedeur Sanders fell 130 picks further than his talent warranted, and the media handed the league the cover story to make it look justified. That is what happened. That is the only honest way to describe what happened. And now Mendoza is going to go number one. He's going to have a celebrated pro day. He's going to get every benefit of the doubt that Shedeur Sanders was systematically denied. And the same voices that destroyed Shedeur's draft stock are going to call it a great pick and move on like none of this ever happened. But it happened. All of it happened. And every day that Shedeur Sanders steps on an NFL field and proves exactly what he was always capable of, this story gets louder. This contradiction gets more glaring. This double standard gets harder to explain away. The league exposed itself. The media exposed itself. The whole operation is on the record now, and we're not forgetting.